Hey everybody, Angelo Lombardo, Fortune 500 executive, talking all things business, primarily all about always playing offense, which is being on the initiative in life and business. And I'm here today with my good friend Cody, and you may be sitting there saying to yourself, how the heck does this relate to business? And I'm going to tell you. So horses are beautiful animals, but they're also a fear animal. In other words, despite how big and strong they are, when horses get scared, their reaction is to react to their fear, to run, to flee, to get away. And where the relevancy is for business is that's not unlike a lot of reactions that people have in a business environment when they're confronted with a situation that's unknown, that they're worried about, that they're unsure of. Fear gets a hold of them. I can assure you, I have been in the Fortune 500 for over 2.5 decades. And there is one thing that I have seen without a doubt, and that is fear is the greatest threat to business. Because here's the situation. Actually, I'm sorry. So really quick. Again, Angelo Lombardo, Fortune 500 executive. Listen, do me a favor. If you like this stuff, down below there's a link to sign up on my website. If you go, in fact, now I just added a feature to my website. If you go and you sign up, www.angelolombardo.com, you'll get a free PDF ebook of all of my favorite quotes, something to keep you motivated on a day-to-day basis. But also, if you know somebody who can benefit from this, go ahead and share them. But, you know, this whole concept I talk about, always playing offense, really grew out of this situation I've seen with fear in a corporate environment. Because really, our companies are awash in fear. What are people afraid of? Everything. But primarily, they're afraid of making a bad decision that's going to negatively impact them in some way. You know, either they're going to lose their job, they're going to get demoted, they're going to lose their bonus, they're not going to get a good raise. And so to deal with this, people do one of two things. They either take no action and defend the status quo, which is very bad, or they take the most conservative action possible, which is also bad because that's how these companies over time stagnate and fail to progress. And I'll give you a great example. Kodak. Kodak owned digital imaging back in the 70s, but they were afraid that it would negatively impact their lucrative film business. So they chose to do nothing. And then the rest of the industry came along and essentially just ate their lunch over time. And Kodak eventually filed for bankruptcy. So now here's the thing. When it comes to fear, and this is kind of an axe I have to grind. If you go out on the internet and you look at business sites, career sites, these types of things, when it talks about how to deal with fear of the unknown, fear of, you're afraid you may lose a customer. There may be a new responsibility that you're going to take on. There may be a challenge facing your company or your organization or your department or whatever it is. You know, they talk about all the mental stuff, like focusing on the positive or not giving energy to the fear. And I think that's good, but the problem is you got to understand how fear works and what's going on in your brain in order to really comprehend why this is so hard. For our brains that are still, our intellect has far outrun kind of the deep pieces of our brain, which are still very much a survival mechanism. You got the amygdala, which is this little thing about the size of a pea, and it's right down in the kind of the center towards the bottom of your brain. And when it senses danger or unknown, it floods your body with the fear response. So, which drives a lot of people to take safe action, which again, no action, conservative action, because they're in a survival mode. And I bring this up because it's a very real physiological thing that's taking place in your body, and it's not just all in the mind. So But here's how you deal with this. The key is that fear thrives in the unknown, right? We confront something that's unknown, a market threat, again, a potential new job, a customer issue, whatever it is, and we get into the fear response. So the real way that you take power over fear, taking away the effect that fear has on you, and getting on offense, taking action, going on the initiative, right, buddy? You seem to be naughty, is that you strip away the unknown. You take the power away from fear. And the best way to do that is to build a plan. And I'll tell you why. Once you have a plan, you've transformed the unknown into the known. You know the way forward. You've built the way forward. You've established something known in the middle of the unknown. And it takes the power away from the fear, and it gives you a sense of control. And control is a very, very powerful antidote to fear. So, how do you develop a plan? It's really simple. Really simple. You do what's one of the most basic tools in all of business, and that is the gap analysis. You look at where you are today, and then you look at where you want to be. And the key is you got to be real honest about where you are today. Hey, we're in a bad situation with a customer, or we have a new competitor that is basically just taking it to us in the marketplace, or I'm being asked to take on a new job, and quite frankly, I don't know if I'm qualified for that, right? So you're really honest about where you are, but then you also be very aspirational about where you want to go to. Okay, well, we don't want to just beat off that competitor. We want to take all our market share back and all the market share that it got. I just don't want to successfully accomplish the duties of that role I potentially am going to move into. I want to exceed it and be the number one performer, right? So that's where you want to get to. This is where you are today. And then it's very simple. All you do is fill in the gap with what you need to do to get to where you want to be. And so, let's take the promotion example, right? Okay, so maybe, that job is a big stretch. And you're like, well, I don't know if I have all the skills. Well, what skills do you need to take on then? Do you need to take an online course? Do you need to get a mentor who can, great example. When I was younger, my biggest weakness was finance. I didn't study a lot when I was in college, got into the business world, found out those numbers I was blowing off were really important. And I buddied up with a lot of people in our finance department. And step one, okay, here are the terms I'm hearing a lot in these meetings. Can you explain to me what they mean? Got it. Okay, step two, can you tell me how to interpret them when I see them on a report? Step three, can you actually show me how to do some of these calculations? And then ultimately, as I progressed, I actually went back to school, got my MBA with an emphasis in finance to get really proficient. So my point is, where I'd started from, it was a complete weakness. Where I'd gotten to, which was my goal, finance became a strength for me. In a sales and marketing role, if you have strong financial acumen, it's a very, very strong competitive advantage. So that's how I bridged that gap. The same can be done if you have a customer you're in trouble with. Hey, we're in a bad situation. We think we might lose the customer. Okay, what are all of the things that we have to do to, again, not only get back in that customer's good graces, but be their most preferred supplier? Okay, well, number one, we need to have a meeting and just establish all of the areas that that we're challenged in. Number two, find out exactly what they want to see from us. Number three, establish a plan to do that. If we don't have the resources, what do we need to do to get the resource? So you kind of see how this works. But the key is you are taking the power away from fear. You're not going into paralysis. You're not choosing to take no action. You're not choosing to take the most conservative action. You're certainly not just getting reactionary, which is another bad situation I've seen people get into. You're essentially, man, you must really like that. You're cheering for me. You're putting yourself in control, and most important in anything in business, you are taking action. And that is what playing offense is all about. So do me a favor, make some comments down below. I've often said this is the no fluff zone. I only talk about stuff that's, he is a good buddy of mine, that's solid and legitimate. You know, do you believe this? Do you think this is helpful? Leave comments down below. Let me know. Let me know if there's anything you want me to elaborate on with regard to this. But most importantly, don't let fear paralyze you. Fear is the greatest threat to business that is never talked about. If you can become fearless in what you do, there is almost nothing you can't accomplish. And it's all about creating a simple plan. That is such a powerful technique. All right. So again, let me know what you think. Sign up for the website, get the free book of quotes. Let's connect on social media if we're not. And God bless, prosper, and in the game of life and business, always play offense. What do you think, Cody? Play offense? All right. Take care.